Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again for another episode of the World Movie Tour, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favourite movies from Europe. Going through my collection, I have quite a few, but I've decided to pull out 6 of my personal favourites from my collection and talk about them on camera. So let's get started. So the first one is a French horror movie called Switchblade Romance. It's also known as High Tension. This is a great slasher movie, great modern slasher that has a really good throwback and nod to late 70s horror. The ending's kind of meh, although I will admit the more I watch the movie, the more the ending does grow on me. But other than the ending, the movie is absolutely brilliant. Great use of gore, and there's some awesome kills throughout. Next we have The House by the Cemetery by Lucio Fulci. This is probably one of my favourites from Fulci, if not my personal favourite. I love the atmosphere. This doesn't rely on gore like a lot of his other movies do, and not that that's a bad thing, but I just love this movie for its really eerie, creepy atmosphere. The house that the family move into is, I love it. It's so creepy looking. And yeah, really good story as well. Next is a Swedish movie called Let the Right One In, and I'm surprised no one's mentioned this yet in their video, sorry. But yeah, this is really good, and I'm not normally big into vampire movies, but this is one of my personal favourites. Definitely one of the best modern horrors out there. And it's got a really sort of unique and original storyline as well. Next we have Deep Red. This is my favourite Argento movie and my favourite Giallo movie. I absolutely love it. I really cannot fault the movie. I think it's absolutely perfect in terms of Giallo. Great kills. I absolutely love the stylized kills throughout the movie. Great cast of characters, amazing soundtrack, one of my favourite soundtracks to a movie. And yeah, I was not expecting the killer to be who it was. Great character development and a build up to the end. So that's Deep Red. The next one is a movie by Michael Haneke. This came out 2009, so it's fairly recent, and that is The White Ribbon. This is a German movie. I have done a review on my channel, so if you want a more in-depth or my more in-depth opinion on the movie, check that review out. This movie is kind of hard to explain, but it centers around a group of families living in a small German town on the eve of World War One. This movie is shot in black and white and looks absolutely amazing. Great camera techniques throughout. It's shot really well. But yeah, the storyline is kind of hard to explain without spoiling it. But I'm just going to give you a rough rundown on it. Basically, as I said, it centers around families living in a small German village. Mainly 3 different families and their children. The children play a big part in this movie, and the movie definitely needs your full concentration. A lot happens throughout. There's a lot of characters that get covered in this movie, and it can be quite confusing. It definitely needs multiple watches, I think, and the movie can be interpreted in a lot of ways. You're never sure quite what's happening, and I think it's great. So this is definitely one to check out if you haven't. I probably haven't given this movie justice in my explanation, but if you've never heard of it before and you're interested in checking it out, which I highly recommend doing, definitely read up on it and check out some trailers, because this is an absolutely amazing movie. And the last one is my favourite foreign horror movie, and well, not horror movie, but my favourite foreign movie, sorry. And this definitely got me into European cinema, and that is Pan's Labyrinth, directed by Guillermo del Toro, and this is his best movie in my opinion. Absolutely amazing. It's basically a really dark adult fairy tale. The story centres around a young girl, her mother and her stepfather, I think it is, who's a Spanish colonel in the Spanish army. They move to the countryside in this old house, and of course she's sort of left to her own devices. Her mother's pregnant, and of course her father is really just a brutal man and doesn't really show a lot of love or anything. So she goes off into the backyard one day and she comes across this sort of forest area, and she comes across a fawn. The fawn, basically the forest area that she goes into is a fantasy world for her, and she comes across this fawn who sets her 3 different tasks to complete. As the tasks go on, they get a lot more brutal and sinister. But yeah, absolutely amazing. I love it. So if you haven't checked this one out, I'd highly recommend doing so. So that is it for this video, and yeah, if there's any movies that I've talked about that you haven't seen, I'd highly recommend checking each and every one of them out. They are all amazing, and in my opinion are some of the best that European cinema has to offer. So I've really enjoyed doing this video. If you guys have seen any of these movies, definitely leave your comments, and don't forget to check out Pharaoh 1990 and participate in this series because it's a lot of fun. So thanks a lot for watching.